Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Javed. It's my lesson number 5 about the number system, and today the topic is properties of inequalities. You can see in my last video I have explained the properties of equalities, okay, and today I'm gonna discuss the properties of inequalities. These properties are similar like the properties of equalities, but only one difference is between them, okay. So today I will tell you the properties of inequalities, and let's begin with the first property, which is additive property. Additive property. This property says that if A is greater than B and we add a number C on both sides, then A plus C is greater than B plus C. The inequality still holds. Okay? If we add a same number on both sides of inequality, then inequality is still true. Similarly, if A is less than B and we add a number C on both sides, then A plus C is less than B plus C. Here the inequality still holds. Now I will solve some examples which will make the idea more clear. 5 is less than 7. This is true. Okay. Now if I add a number on both sides, like if I add 3 on both sides, 5 plus 3 8 and 7 plus 3 10. 8 is less than 10. It is true. In case of two negative numbers like minus 5 is less than minus 2. This is true. If I add plus 6 on both sides, then the answer is plus 6 minus 5 1 is less than 2. The inequality still holds. Okay. Now if one number is negative and the other is positive, for example minus 5 is less than 2, and if I add 7 on both sides, plus 2 is less than 9, which is true. So this is how the additive property works. Now if we have two conditions, A is greater than B and C is greater than D, A plus C is greater than B plus D. If we take the help of an example like 7 is greater than 3 and 9 is greater than 5. Now if I add 7 and 9 and add 3 and 5, 7 plus 9 is equal to 16 and 3 plus 5 is equal to 8, and 16 is still greater than 8. Okay. Now take another example. If 6 is less than 10 and 7 is less than 5. Now if I will add 6 and 7, the answer is 13, and 10 plus 5, the answer is 15. 13 is less than 15. The next property is subtractive property. It is also similar like the additive property, but here only the difference is we are gonna subtract a quantity from both sides of inequality. 5 is less than 6. If I subtract 3 from both sides, 5 minus 3 2, 6 minus 3 3. 2 is less than 3. The inequality still holds. See the next example. Minus 5 is less than minus 4. If I subtract minus 3 on both sides, the answer is minus 8 is less than minus 7. This is true. The next property is multiplicative property. This property says that if A is greater than B and we multiply a number C on both sides, then inequality is still true. A dot C is greater than B dot C. If we have an inequality that 7 is greater than 5, and if I multiply the both sides with 5, 7 multiplied by 5 35, and 5 multiplied by 5 25. 35 is greater than 25. The statement is still true. Here is the other condition of multiplicative property. According to this condition, if A is greater than B and C is greater than D, then the product of A and C would be greater than the product of B and D. For example, if 5 is greater than 3 and 9 is greater than 4, 5 multiplied by 9 is 45 and 3 multiplied by 4 is 12. 45 is greater than 12. So this is true. In both these examples, we can see that we have multiplied on both sides with a positive number. So that's why the statement is still true. Okay? But if we multiply with a negative number, then what will happen? So let's see. If A is greater than B and we multiply C on both sides and C is a negative number, then the statement will reverse. A is greater than B, but A dot C is less than B dot C. Let's see an example. 5 is greater than 4. If I multiply on both sides with minus 2, 5 multiplied minus 2, the answer is minus 10, and 4 multiplied by minus 2, the answer is minus 8. If I follow the statement, minus 10 would be greater than minus 8. But this is not true. Minus 10 is less than minus 8. So here we can see if we multiply by the negative number, the statement is reversed. The direction of inequality is flipped. 5 is greater than 4, but after multiplication minus 10 is less than minus 8. So you can see that inequality is flipped. Direction of inequality is reversed. This only happens if we multiply with the negative number. This is the only difference between the properties of inequalities and properties of equalities. Except this property, both the equality and inequality properties are similar. This is the only difference between both of them. The next property is deviant property. This property says if A is greater than B and we divide with the positive number C on both sides, then A divided by C is also greater to B divided by C. For example, 6 is greater than 4. Now if I divide by 2 on both sides, the answer is 3 is greater than 2. The inequality is true. 10 is greater than 5. If I divide by 5 on both sides, the answer is 2 is greater than 1, which is true. Let's see what will happen if we divide by a negative number. A is greater than B, and if we divide on both sides by a negative number, then the statement will be reversed. It will become A divided by C is less than b divided by c. Here you can see here is greater, but here is the lesser than inequality. So inequality is reversed. Let's take the help of an example. 20 is greater than 15. As we know, this is true. But if I divide by a negative number on both sides, minus 5, here minus 5, if we divide by minus 5 on both sides, we will see that the answer is 20 divided by minus 5 minus 4, 15 divided by minus 5 minus 3. If I follow this statement, then here should be minus 4 greater than minus 3. But this is not true. Minus 4 is less than minus 3. Okay, so you can see that if we divide or if we multiply by a negative number, the statement is reversed and the inequality is flipped. If there is a sign of greater than and we multiply or divide by a negative number, then it will become less than. Okay, the inequality will be flipped. The next property is transitive property. This is also similar like the transitive property of equalities. If a is greater than b and b is greater than c, then a is also greater than c. For example, 5 is greater than 4 and 4 is greater than 3. So it's obviously that 5 is greater than 3. So this is all about the properties of inequalities. All is similar like the properties of equalities, but only the difference is that if we will divide or multiply by a negative number, then the statement will be reversed. This is the point which has to be noted while solving the equations